peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through.
Well, the Spirit waits with open arms. God's calling out your name.
Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been,
Come on in.
come on in. Come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of Spirit. We've waited so long for your homecoming day.
God knows the peace you need and the hurt you're feeling. Spirit wants to hold you and to wipe your tears away.
Well, the door's unlocked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been,
Come on in.
come on in.
There is room enough in this home of love
For someone just like you.
Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now.
No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been, welcome home. Come on, welcome in. Welcome home. Come on, welcome in.
You are loved
Welcome home.
and you belong here. You are loved and you belong here. Come on in. Aloha.
Aloha.
Hey, come on, my. We welcome you to Unity Church of Hawaii. Please stand as you are able, and let's see how God can use us. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the Son, God is the Son, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine the light as we, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine the light to shine the light. God needs us to shine the light. And God needs us to shine the light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Thank you, Zamar and band. Good morning. Aloha kakahiaka. I'm Reverend Margie Hyde, and it is my joy to welcome each of you this morning to our service at Unity Church of Hawaii, where, centered in God, we elevate global consciousness through the realization of oneness. Heart to heart, connecting together in that presence of God. Unity is a spiritual, inclusive, meditation, educational, and healing movement that was founded over a century ago on the power of prayer to heal and transform our lives. When we connect with this essence within us, we reshape who we are in the world, and we reshape the world as well. So I want you to know some things about yourselves this morning. Some truths to stand in this week when you leave this sacred ground and live life in the world. First, each of us is a creation in the image and likeness of God itself. That energy that created the universe placed you in a human body and said, "Be my presence in this world." I am a radiant expression of God. Will you claim that with me this morning? I am a radiant expression of God. And we arrived with a seed planted in us that calls from our heart, gives intention to our life, moves us with purpose. We are here to be that expression of God, to live as the compassionate heart of God, the loving face of God, the willing hands and feet of God in action. We are called to live that purpose so that God is present on the earth here and now in this moment. My soul calls me to live my holy purpose. Will you claim that for yourself this morning? My soul calls me to live my holy purpose. So now you know 2 new things about yourself if you didn't know them when you came in. And we repeat them so they become more true. You know that you are the radiant expression of God. And you know that you have within you a holy purpose, which is to express that God nature more fully in your life. To live in the wisdom, the power, the confidence, and the activity that is God, so you are living an abundant life. And this is not only true for you. Touch your heart and say, yes, this is me. This is my truth. I am that radiant energy of God. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's also you. You are that radiant energy of God. It's your spouse, your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, that teenager or a toddler you may live with. Oh, that radiant energy of God is present in all beings. Yes, that's the truth. So when we live in connection with these truths, we are moving, swimming in that sweet sacred presence of God that moves us through life with greater ease, no matter what's going on the days when you say, woohoo, and the days when you say, I wish I'd written a better script. Whatever is happening, moving in the energy of God places you in love, wisdom, harmony, and peace. I live in the loving flow of God's energy. Claim that with me. I live in the loving flow of God's energy. So breathe into these truths, these statements of your divine nature, and know that you are expressing the living essence of God. Allow your thinking to change and open to these ideas. Allow your consciousness to expand, and you are transformed. So I'm going to ask you to stand if you are able and share that living essence of God with your neighbor around you and say, good morning, Radiant One.
Please remain standing as you are able. Let's be one in the Spirit.
We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. And we pray that our unity will this day be restored. And we'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. Yes, we'll know we're one family by our love. We will walk with each other. We will walk side by side. We will walk with each other. We will walk side by side. And we'll guard each one's dignity and save each one their pride. And we'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. Yes, we'll know we're one family by our love. We will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand. And together we'll show the world that God is in our land. And we'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. Yes, we'll know we're one family by our love. All praise to the Spirit from whom all blessings come. And all praise to the Christhood in each daughter and son. And all praise to the Spirit that makes us all one. And we'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. Yes, we'll know we're one family by our love. And we'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. Yes, we'll know we're one family by our love.
All right, thank you, Zamar. It's so good to have all of you here. Aloha. It's so good to have you here. Thank you for coming. I'm Reverend Tim Lytle, the senior minister here at Unity Church of Hawaii, in case you wondered where you were. And I'm so grateful for all of those watching, all of those who are here. And if this is your first time here, or first time since I've been here, we especially give you a warm greeting, warm welcome. We have Kukui Nutley. We have several ushers that are ready. You guys are ready, right? The ushers are ready with their Kukui Nutley, their packets of information, and the packets have in them a free breakfast pass. We have a breakfast right down these steps for you if you would like a free breakfast. If this is your first time here or first time since I've been here, we invite you to please stand. Would you stand for us? All right. Thank you. There's a bunch of them. Ushers are rushing to greet you. I can see them rushing. I'm even going to help. All right. So good to have you here. Thank you for coming. And these packets have the free breakfast pass in them. And wow, what an honor to have you here. And if you could remain standing, let's get the energy going. We're going to give you a love blast. Are you ready for a love blast? You ready for a shift in consciousness? You ready for your world to be rocked? Okay. Repeat after me. We bless you. We recognize who you really are. You are the love and light of God. Here on this planet to do amazing things. And we are here to support you. To love you and to celebrate you. Welcome to Unity. Thank you for being here. What a blessing. We behold the Christ in you and as you. Thank you for being here. And we have a bunch of people who watch us online. They may watch on an archived service, or they may be watching us live on our website. People also watch us on the YouTube channel or the New Thought channel, which is an online TV channel. People also watch us on Alelo television. We're very grateful for our connection with Alelo television. And people watch us from all over the world. Bless you. Germany, Switzerland, bless you. Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Canada, Colombia, Venezuela. There were a bunch of Venezuelans who watched us recently. In Waimanalo, all over the world. And so we welcome you, and people are also listening to us on KSUN Radio in Wichita, Kansas. And so let's give a shaka to all of our wonderful love streamers. We love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ as you. And we know that wherever you are, God is. All of God is fully and completely present, because there's no way in which God can be divided or diluted or, diminished in any way. All of God is fully present there, as is here. That means we're one ohana, we're one family. And we know with you wholeness, peace, blessing, the highest and best in life, unfolding the true reality of who we are, that we are stepping into our divine reality as us, the divine expressing itself as us. Is that exciting or what? Let's give them some love. Thank you. They probably thought I was just going to jump through the camera, and I might. So just stay tuned. It is so good to have all of you here. And we have some exciting things coming up this week. We have classes that are going on Monday through Friday this week. And these classes are called SEE classes, but don't let that scare you. It's for everybody. So Reverend Geo Downer, who is the senior minister from Unity of Windward on the other side of the island, from 1 o'clock until 3, in room 201, right up the steps over there, is going to be teaching Metaphysics Part 1. Metaphysics Part 1 looks at what does unity teach about God? What is the nature of oneness? What is the nature of reality? What is temporal reality? What is the absolute? What about prayer and meditation? How do we connect and align in this presence of God? Reverend Geo will be teaching this. We'll have 3 classes. These are all by a love offering, you know. So just bring your love and come. And then we will have a class with June Dillinger, licensed Unity teacher. Tell us.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, June.
Aloha. Good morning, everyone.
Aloha.
In case you wonder where I've been, for the last 4 years, I have been at Unity Windward with Reverend Gio.
Right.
I am very happy to be back. I am teaching the Unity prayer class from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. this next week. What I want you to know most importantly is if you can't make every one of these classes and you are curious about prayer,
Good point.
please come in.
Yes.
I don't care if you think that you might be late. I want you to come.
Yeah.
I want you to question what is prayer for you. Because this class is being taught in conjunction with the book, How to Pray Without Talking to God.
Right, by Linda Martella-Whitsett.
Yes, and she's actually spoke here before. And so if you wonder, how can you possibly pray without talking to God? We're going to learn. Please join me. I'm happy to see you and happy to see... Actually, let's move it into the sanctuary.
Oh, well, I hope we can just fill this place up. Let's
Thank
pack
you.
it out. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be teaching a class on meditation. I love meditation. I am a meditator. If there's one thing about me, I'm a meditator. And I've been practicing meditation for, since I was 2. When my mom, as a hyperactive child, would hold me and model for me deep breathing and help me to settle into the silence. I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian family, but I learned how to meditate. And that has been a lifesaver in my life. I've studied deeply meditation with Sufism, with Kabbalah, with practices from India, with Taoism and Buddhism. Hey, I don't wait. Rarely do I make this kind of guarantee. But I'm going to make you a guarantee. Are you ready for a 100% guaranteed guarantee? Ready? All right, here it is. I can work with anybody to find a meditation practice that works for you to work with the way your mind works. Why fight the mind? We can work with the way the mind works and find a way that you can meditate and know the silence, to know the peace, to know the presence of God within you. My goodness, when you want to do that, then come. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday night. And like June said, if you can only make 1 or 2, feel free to come in. And we'll be up in room 201. Unless there's so many, we'll need to move down here. In any case, we're going to have a phenomenal time. Please come and join us. And I want to give a shout out to Don Farmer and Kalani Handley. We celebrated their wedding, their marriage yesterday. We give you blessings. All right. It was fun. I'm still high from that service. Oh, that was so fun. Okay, let us now move into We Are One.
We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. And in this unity, we will live in harmony, and peace will come. 'Cause we are one.
Whatever is going on in your life, God is there. Because wherever you are, God is. And we know that for all the people of the world. God doesn't see boundaries. God doesn't see the barriers between countries or different groups. God only sees itself. And we are the expression of that. And so wherever you are, God is. Let us bring into this sacred space our requests, our intentions. As you take a deep breath and settle into where you are, God, we know that right now we are in your presence. We know that there is truly only one power and one presence active as our lives and as the universe, God, the good omnipotence. We breathe into this, knowing our connection, our oneness with you, knowing that you bless and anoint this service, that you're ministering to each one of us at the point of our need, whether we're watching online, whether we are here physically. We know where we are, you are. And we lift the intentions of our hearts for our world, for all of us, for ourselves right now. Spirit, we place ourselves in your hands. We know that you fill and surround and anoint this sacred space. We honor you and we open our hearts. We give thanks and we say together, and so it is. Amen.
And now let us take this time to just relax and go deeper into that experience of oneness. And today's word from the Daily Word is comfort. And the affirmation is, in extending comfort to others, I find peace. Let us say this statement of truth together. In extending comfort to others, I find peace. The message continues. The 23rd Psalm affirms comfort through the darkest of valleys. At times, it may seem that by only finding myself in a dark valley, I am able to appreciate the spiritual substance by which I am surrounded. Faith reminds me that comfort is a quality of spirit, not dependent on conditions or circumstances in my life. This awareness aids me in being a channel of comfort and serenity for others as well. I do so by replacing drama and instant judgment with an energy of peace and love. At every opportunity, even through any seeming valleys, I find time to be still and know nothing can disturb the calm that I feel and the serenity that I share with others. And today's passage comes from Psalm 23:6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In extending comfort to others, I find peace. Let us collectively breathe that in and exhale any tension, any concern, closing the outer eye and allowing the mind to be still, to consciously connect with that source in the place of the Most High. And whether that source, as you may know it, is called Krishna or Christ or Muhammad, we breathe in the peace that exists with it, knowing that we are never separate, that is us. And let us breathe that in, our connection, knowing that we are all here for God and for God alone. That the comfort that God extends through us as us, we can also extend to those that may be in need. And we can extend it with a smile, a hug. We can always choose to show up in love, that we are always connected, and an extension of love is an extension of God through us. That God works through us as us. With this, we are all one in this spirit. We provide comfort to each other. Let us take this into the silence. And allowing the mind to remain at ease, focusing our attention back to this time, this space, this oneness, that our conscious connection with God constitutes our comfort, our peace. Let us embody this the rest of this day, tomorrow, and forevermore. And we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. There's one power indescribable, and you speak of it in every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. One power, one power, one power. That's right. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. Sing it with us this time. One power, that's right. One power, yes it is. One power. It's a moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. The freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, or it's the love that's most deep. It's one power, one power, one power, one power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said it's one power, one power, one power, one power. Oh yeah. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power,
Yeah. Thank you.
Ralph over there.
Dan Del Negro, Ralph and Van, thank you. We're looking at the radical teachings of Jesus. Radical comes from the Latin word radix, which means root. So we're getting to the root of things. The teachings of Jesus are as radical today as they were then. And the power of the month that we're looking at is the power of understanding. If you wonder what is the power of understanding, it's what you're standing on. It's under your standing. Okay, what is your foundation? What is your life, your belief system, your motivation based on? What is the foundation? That is your understanding. So we're looking through the eyes of Jesus and his teachings, which are universal principles that you can find in many, many different faith traditions. Jesus, by saying it, didn't make it true. Jesus said it because it is true. And many traditions say the truth, and you can hear these, and unity listens to these messages of truth in whatever faith background they may come from. So we're looking at why care about others. I mean, you may think, why are we asking the question? Well, because there are some people who wonder if we should really care about others. I mean, recently, there was someone who wore a jacket that said something like, do you really think I care, or something like that. And, people got in this froth about it and all that, and I'm not going to talk about that. But then I saw someone come out with a shirt that said, literally, I don't care. They wanted to make it absolutely clear that they don't care. And many people, by their lives, demonstrate that they don't care. Because being sensitive, having your heart open to the needs of others can sometimes hurt. When you see the pain of others, when you see the suffering of others. I remember working in the hospital. I worked in the hospital for 27 years or so, and as a chaplain, and I saw the worst times in people's lives. When I worked in psychiatry, when I worked in addictions, when I worked in trauma and the burn center, I saw the worst in people's lives. And some people that work in the hospital want to shield themselves from it, shield themselves from the pain. But I thought it was an opportunity to really step into their holy ground and join them in that place and see what that's really like with them, and to find hope, to find the presence in that experience. But many people wonder, why should I care about others? And I want to ask you that. Why should we? So I want to look at the teachings of Jesus. Jesus is cool. I mean, Jesus is my bud. Jesus is like my ultimate guru. Jesus is a way shower. Jesus traveled a path and was saying, hey, I want to show you a way to do this. Jesus was a bhakta. Jesus was a devotee. Jesus was one who wanted his life to only be about God, to be about the Father. So much so that he said, when you see me, you've seen the Father. Okay, so, lawyers. I'm not going to tell a lawyer joke. But lawyers in the day of Jesus were those experts in Jewish law, the Talmud, the Torah. They studied the law in great depth. And so a lawyer of that day approached Jesus and said, good master, what is it that I should do to have eternal life? What is it that I should really center my life around? And Jesus turned it around on him and said, well, you've read the law. What do you say? What do you read? And he answered and said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. And this comes from Deuteronomy chapter 6. And your neighbor as yourself. That comes from Leviticus chapter 19. And Jesus said to him, you've answered rightly. You know, like, good job, high five. Do this and you will live. But this is a very analytical person. And he's a lawyer. He wants to find the loopholes. But he, wanting to justify himself, said to Jesus, and who is my neighbor? Like, are there people we can leave out? Because in the time that Jesus was talking with him, there were people that the Jews left out. There were people who weren't invited to the party. You know? Have you ever found out that there was a party and you weren't invited? How did that feel? There were a lot of people who were not being invited to the party. And so Jesus told this story. Now he's telling this story to people who are Jewish. It helps us to understand Scripture better if we understand the context of the time. And 2,000 years ago in Palestine, the Jews and the Samaritans were taught to have nothing to do with each other. There was a boundary between Judea and Samaria, and they were told not to talk to each other. So, like, if you're walking down the street, walk on the other side of the street. Don't have anything to do with those people, you know? They were considered as being on the wrong side of the track, have nothing to do with Samaritans. And you can see this also in the story where Jesus is sitting at the well and a Samaritan woman comes to the well and he talks with her and she says, what are you talking to me for? Jews have nothing to do with Samaritans. So there was this strong class system. Okay? Jesus then tells this story to Jewish people. That there was this man that was robbed and beaten and stripped of his clothing and left bleeding in the road. And so first comes a Jewish priest. And what does the Jewish priest do? He walks right on by. Maybe he gave him a little blessing as he went by. Hope you feel better soon. You know, maybe he was on his way to a prayer meeting. I don't know. And next came a Levite. The Levites were a priestly class. These were highly esteemed people to the Jewish people. And Jesus is using these highly esteemed people to make a point. And the Levite, what's he do? He walked right on by. Didn't even want to look at him. But then comes a Samaritan. Now place yourself in the mindset of Jewish people. Like they're not supposed to have anything to do with Samaritans. Samaritans are bad. You know, they're across the border. We don't want them sneaking into our border. Seriously. This was the issue 2,000 years ago. I'm not making a political statement. This was the issue then, as is now. And so, here's a Samaritan. The Samaritan comes down the road and he sees this guy that's beaten and he's been robbed. The Samaritan stops and helps him. He bandages up his wounds. He puts him on his donkey. He takes him to a hotel. He pays the hotel owner and he pays in advance. If this man needs anything, please take care of him. And then Jesus asks the lawyer, which one of these three was the neighbor? And the lawyer says, the man who stopped to help him. And Jesus said, right on, go and do likewise. The neighbor is all of those people that we may see as the other, those people who may look different, they may sound different, they may be a different sexual orientation, they may be a different race, they may be a different ethnicity. When Ogalucia and I were in Wichita recently, we stopped with part of our family in Wichita that are from Iran. And these people are loving people. I've never met more loving people, Muslim people from Iran who've taken us in as family. And then we got with our family that we've adopted from Nepal. And I'm thinking, God doesn't see these distinctions. God does not see these barriers, these boundaries. God doesn't say, oh, I love these people more because they're from this country and not that country. Let me tell you something. God doesn't belong to any political party. God doesn't belong to any particular country because God expresses as each and every one of us. Our first unity principle is that there's only one power, one presence, active as our lives and as the universe. God, the good omnipotence. The second principle comes from that, which is this. That means every single one of us are that expression of the divine. Every single one of us. No matter how we look, no matter how we act, every single one of us are the expression of that divine. Jesus is teaching us that spiritual principle 2,000 years ago. That divine presence is in each and every person. And I meant to say this in the first service next Sunday. So those of you who write me emails saying, what are you talking about next Sunday? Next Sunday, I'm going to be speaking on you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things. As someone came to me and said, do you believe in Jesus? I say, yeah, and furthermore, Jesus believes in me. So we'll be talking about that from the life and teachings of Jesus. So Jesus told this other statement. Then the king will say, and this comes from, that previous scripture was from Luke chapter 10. This is from Matthew chapter 25. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed of my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger. Okay, here I'm going to get on my soapbox. That word stranger, oh my goodness, we've so anglicized that word, we've taken all the meaning out of it. The Greek word in the Greek New Testament is xeno, X-E-N-O, or the form in this particular passage is xenos, from which we get the word xenophobia. Greek, also the Greek word for fear is phobos. So, xenophobia is fear of Xeno. Well, what's Xeno? Xeno literally means immigrant. I'm just teaching the teachings of Jesus. It literally means immigrant. Someone who is from a different culture than you, someone who is from a different country than you, someone who's from a different culture. That's literally what it means. You may not like it, but it's the teachings of Jesus. So, it's up to you what you do with that. I'm just going to tell you what he was teaching. So, he's talking about the stranger. Again, he's talking to Jewish people. People who at that time, and I am not saying anything against Jewish people. I have a mentor who is a rabbi who was my Kabbalah and Torah teacher for 5.5 years. And so I have learned so much and connected so much. But he was saying this to a group that liked to exclude others and make themselves feel better by putting other people down. And that's why other people sometimes act as if to put others down, to make themselves somehow feel better, but it doesn't work. The way that you treat others is the way you are treating God. Okay. I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison. Right, Tony? I mean, not that she's been in prison. I've gone with Tony to go to the prison, and I look forward to having the prison choir come here and sing. Yeah. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. The least of these brothers and sisters. Now, if you think that Jesus was like, I'm all that, Jesus calls the least of us his brothers and sisters. Whatever their race, whatever their sexual orientation, whatever their country, whoever they are, Jesus says they're my brothers and my sisters. Now, if you're better than Jesus, maybe you can come up with some different system, but I kind of doubt it. Our brothers and our sisters, when someone hurts, when someone is affected, when someone is taken advantage of, it affects us. In Wichita, we have, and I'm a vegetarian. I don't believe in eating meat. But in Wichita and in Kansas, there's a big meat industry, right? And so immigrants are brought in to prepare the meat. Lots of meat companies there. And so if you eat meat, there's a very good chance it was prepared by an immigrant. And I got to see firsthand how sometimes immigrants were treated, sometimes like slaves, because they didn't always know their rights. They didn't know what they could do to speak up for themselves. I got to know, become close to my Muslim brothers and sisters in Wichita and understand how much they love others and care about others and how much slander there is about them. When we were looking for a car, I went into a car dealership. We went to different car dealerships, and we had been working with some salespeople. They were called away. They came back almost with sort of a puzzled look on their face. And they said, our sales manager told us that you can have any car on this lot at cost. I said, what? And I had done enough research to know what cost was at what we were looking at. And it turned out it was one of the people from the mosque who was so grateful for me calling a press conference and taking a stand and standing up with the community. So that car you see out in the minister's spot, thank you, Danny. Yeah. Anyway, we sometimes act like people are other, like we have to treat them badly. And, even in our own relationships, our own connections, sometimes we think, man, that person really did me dirty. What can I do to them? But when we get to the truth of it, when we see the divine presence that they are, we recognize that we can only come from a place of love. A number of years ago, I got to go to the Philippines. This was when I was with another denomination, the Church of the Nazarene, and helped build a Bible college in Cebu City. And the missionaries told us in advance that people would come up to us expecting money. And they instructed us, do not look them in the eye. If you look them in the eye, you'll end up giving them something, then you'll draw more. You'll be hounded by people. Don't look them in the eye. I realized I can't do that. I thought about it. I prayed about it before I went on the trip. We were at one point at the airport. And so here were these real tiny kids, maybe 4 or 5 years old, covered with dirt, dressed in rags. Now I know that at that time, at least, the mafia would use children to collect money, would sometimes disfigure the children, break their arms or whatever, to make them more pitiful so that people would give more money and that the children wouldn't get any of it. So, I wasn't naive. But I saw these children, and people were saying, "Don't look at them. Don't look." I said, "I'm looking." They said, "Don't look. I'm looking." So I looked at these children. They all gathered around me. Yeah, they asked for money. And, I politely declined, but I wanted to get to know them. I wanted to know who they were. I wanted to talk with them. And they smiled so big, and they gave me a garland of flowers. And they sat down and talked with me and played with me. And they laughed, and I realized all they really wanted was to be seen as a person. Not to be dismissed, not to be discounted. We live in a culture where we discount people. The radical teachings of Jesus is that if you follow me, you can't discount people. You come from the heart. You open your heart and you see them. And I realize in my own life that no matter what, I'm coming from the heart. I'm coming with heart wide open, and sometimes people have warned me, "Don't do that. People will step on your heart." It's like, I know it. But that's how I'm coming, with a heart wide open. And I invite you to do the same, to see the divine in each person. Because the truth is, when you are really being yourself, you're letting that divine presence shine through. At the wedding yesterday, we sang this song, "I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. Your true colors, your true colors, your true colors, like a rainbow." Your true colors, the presence of God. That's what we are here to awaken to. That's what we're here to share with the world. Jesus told us, "You are the light of the world." We are here to touch other people's lives. Yes, we care. Yes, we are open. And people are looking for that. And when they see a spiritual community that is open and loving and comes from the heart, there won't be enough room here for all of them. That is what we are here to do. To be our true selves, our highest self. To come from that Christ place within. Be yourself and love others as they are, seeing the divine as them. Aloha.
One, two, three, four. yourself. Be yourself. Your divine self. You know we're all on the spiritual path. We might think there's somewhere to get to, somewhere where it's at. But we don't need to reach for that star. What we're searching for is who we really are. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself this morning. Your divine self. You've already got everything you need to find love, wisdom, and power for eternity. You can be yourself. You can set yourself free. Everything you need is provided by divinity. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Your divine self. And let your brothers and sisters be their real selves too. Let our divine selves play and see what we can do. All one divine self expressing in a unique way. Let's let the God times roll. Let's go out and play. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Your divine self. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo. It's all waiting for you. Yourself, myself, our divine selves too. Let's go out and play and see what we can do when we be ourselves. Our divine self. Be yourself. Our divine self. Be yourself. Woo! Mahalo nui loa. Be yourself.
Oh, Dan Del Negro and band. Thank you. Woo!
Look out now.
All right, be yourself. Oh, we're going to prepare to give our tithes and our offerings. I gave my tithe earlier. I had Kahu come here, and we did a special blessing and healing and cleansing of the entire campus, every nook and cranny, every aspect of this place. And so, yeah, this place is all cleared up. And so it's all good. And so we give from this place of love, of abundance, of gratitude. So as you place your offering, your tithe over your heart or in your hands, repeat after me. I bless this offering in the consciousness of abundance, of love, of gratitude. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Amen. A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Spirit is here and the power is real.
I feel it.
Anything can happen and it probably will. Something very good, something good is going on down here.
There's a light to shine to make the darkness appear.
feel. Anything can happen, and it probably will. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
There's a light that shines and make the darkness disappear. Power of the word, but there's nothing to fear. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
This is a church on fire. This is a Holy Spirit place. We have a burning desire to live in God's holy name. Let the fire burn in every heart. The light, the way, defeat the dark. Let the flame of love burn higher. This is a church. This is a church on fire.
Come on, sing it with us.
This is a church on fire. This is a Holy Spirit place. We have a burning desire to live in God's holy name. Let the fire burn in every heart. To light the way, defeat the dark. Let the flame of love burn higher. This is a church. This is a church on fire. Something very good, something good is going on around here. Something very good, something good is going on around here. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
Ah, thank you. I was going to catch you. All right. As we extend our hands to this offering, we bless this offering knowing it represents infinite substance of which there is no lack or limitation. And we know that we go from here to circulate the presence of God, living itself as us. That our love, our blessing, our light touches the world, one person at a time. And we begin with us. Take a deep breath. Healing and loving ourselves. And then take a deep breath. Loving and blessing this world. And we give thanks. And we say together, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Well, there's been some changes going on. There's lots of things been going on. Alethea, our music director, and I have a very wonderful relationship. We work very closely. And for several months, she was telling me, maybe since about 2010, she had been thinking that maybe it was time for her to move out of her position. She's been the music director here for 27 years. I'm her 11th minister. Now, soon after she and I got together, in the way only Alethea can do it, she said, "You're my 11th." I'm like, and so she has devoted herself so much in music, charting the scores for the singers, for all the different musicians, working all kinds of hours and devoting herself to this ministry. I didn't want to hear, I was like, la, 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 la. But Alethea has made the decision to step out of this position. So she is no longer our music director. Now, I have some good news for you a little bit later. But first, I want you to take that in. Now, when I first took that in, she just expected me to just roll along with it. Alethea doesn't like attention. And so I'm sobbing, telling her how much I love her and how much I appreciate the stable force that she has been here. And she's like, oh my. So we really appreciate and love Alethea. And so before I share the good news, we have a little video about Alethea here. This comes from yesterday's wedding. Alethea was just playing some Thank you. Thank you.
I'd also like to thank Alethea as well. She's been so helpful to me the
Yes.
times I've subbed over here, and she's really helping us out with the transition. So thank you, Alethea, for all
Thank you,
all your wonderful
Alethea.
work.
We love you. You and Kiyoki. So, lots of things going on. The blood mobile is still open. If you would like to donate blood, we thank you. All the blood on Hawaii comes from people here in Hawaii. So if you would like to help with that effort, they're down by the playground area, the blood mobile. And wow, what a joy to be with you all. Prayer chaplains in the house, any prayer chaplains that can join us up here at the front, they are available to know with you a 1-minute miracle. Whatever it is that you would like prayer for or that you're thankful for, they'll hold that in confidentiality and pray with you. Thank you. Am I forgetting anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I didn't? I did? That's so fun. And just know that I love each and every one of you. And in that spirit of love, let's all stand, join hands as we sing our peace song, and Aloha Oe.
Peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be.